Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Hope you're okay. We're moving on today from metric units to look at something called imperial units, which are measurements that sometimes still get used today, but actually were used a lot more years ago. So let's get going and share this screen. So here we are. Let me get my slideshow going. Here we are. Right, we're having a look today. This lady has come to the vet because one of these naughty birds has swallowed her wedding ring. And she said the one that swallowed it is about 3 feet tall. But you can see the different types of birds we've got down here. A duck, an ostrich, a penguin and a goose. They're all measured in inches. Now, we need to know, first of all, which bird swallowed the ring. And what we've got to think about is how tall are they in metric units as well. That's going to be our next question. So we're going to first of all concentrate on which one swallowed the ring. So if we're looking at those and we know that the bird that swallowed the wedding ring was 3 feet tall, we know that 1 foot is about 12 inches. We know that therefore 2 feet would be 24 inches because it's doubled, isn't it? We've doubled the feet, so we must double the number of inches. Now we then need to go for 3 feet. So we've got to add another 12 inches onto there. So that's going to be 36 inches. So do we all agree? I think that the penguin is the culprit because look, we can see it broken down here. 1 foot was 12 inches, another foot was another 12 inches, and another foot was another 12 inches, which is the same as 3 feet. So here we go, 12 times 3 is 36. So the penguin swallowed the ring. It shows over here, look, that they reused these units like feet and inches for measuring length. We used all the time up until 1965, and that's when the metric system was introduced, and that's when we converted into things like meters, centimeters, milliliters more for our measuring of length. Now, how tall is the ostrich in metric units? Now, it says here that 1 inch is about 2.5 centimeters long. So the ostrich is 48 inches tall. So that means we've got to do 48 times by 2.5. So this bar model is a really nice way of showing this, I think, because basically we're doubling 48. So we've got 2 sets of 48, and then we've got to have half of 48 because we're timesing by 0.5, which is 24. So that means we can do 48 times 2, which is 96. We can do 48 times a half, which is 24, and then we can add those answers together. So that means that 48 inches is the same as 120 centimetres. For these types of questions, using our bar models are really effective ways of breaking down our multiplications. So always you think, if I'm a little bit stuck, you can always get a scrap piece of paper and draw some of these out to help you. Okay, now then that final bit for this was obviously that's in centimetres. If we then wanted to convert, like we did before in our metric units, if we wanted to convert that into metres, we divide by 100. So that means we could say that the ostrich is either 120 centimetres tall, which is the same as 1.2 metres. Now here's our think together. So this emu is 5 feet and 3 inches tall. How tall is it in inches? Now we saw this previously, didn't we, that 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. So again, we've got a nice bar model here to show this. So we've got 5 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each of those is 12 inches long. And then we've got our extra 3 inches here because we're looking at 5 feet 3, which actually is exactly how tall Mrs. Lodge is. So that's quite funny. I wonder if all emus are the same height as me. So what we're going to do, we do 5 times 12 first. What is 5 times 12? Or we could think 12 times 5, which is the same as 60, isn't it? So let me get my pen. Here we go. So 5 times 12, I'm going to write the answer in here, is 60. And then we've got 60. We've got to add the 3 because the 60 is the 5 feet, and we've already got 3 inches. So that means we've got here, let's see what's going on. Oh dear, it's already drawn a bit of my 6. So the total is 63. That's a dreadful bit of writing, isn't it, there? So let me put it again here. So 5 feet and 3 inches is the same as 63 inches. The emu is 63 inches tall. There we go. Now, the other unit that we often hear of for length in imperial measurement are yards. Now, 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. So we've got 1 yard That's the same as 3 feet. And each foot was the same as 12 inches. That's quite confusing. It shows it nicely there on this bar model. So over here, you can see that we've got 15 yards just here. Now it's started to break it down. So 15 yards, so we'd need to draw this 15 times. It hasn't done it because it would be quite large. So every time you've got 1 yard, you've got 3 feet, which is 3 sets of 12 inches. So the way that we would convert first is, first of all, put it into feet. So we know that in 1 yard, there are 3 feet. So if we've got 15 yards, we need to do 15 times by 3. Now, you can either times it by 3 or you can add 15 3 times. The answer to that is 45. So 15 yards is the same as 45 feet. Okay, now then we've got to do 45 feet times by what? What am I going to be multiplying by this time? If I've got 45 sets of feet, I've got to then multiply it by into inches, haven't I? Because we've got to put it into inches. So I'm going to be doing 45 times by, oh, I've lost my cursor now. Where's it gone? I've got to multiply it by 12. So when I find my pointer, here it is, it's been a bit silly today. There we go. 45 times by 12. Now, I would break this down, because the way that I would do 45 times by 12 is I'd do 45 times by 10 first, which would give me 450. And then that means I've times it by the tens. Then I've got to do 45 times 2, which is 90. So 450 add 90, that's going to give me an answer of 540. There we go. Ooh. Okay, so 45 times by 12 is 540 inches. So if I have got my answer of 540 inches, that means the pond is 540 inches wide. So there, that was quite a complicated transition, I think. Let me just write that down here so you can see that in the final answer box. But again, I think it really helps to see the bar model over here, that you could see that you had to have the 15 yards, you then had to put that into feet, which we multiplied by 3, and then to get from feet to inches, we multiplied by 12, and that's where we got our answer from. Okay, so here is today's work. Again, my head seems to be every day in the way of the Power Maths pages. Let me just move me out of the way a bit. So Power Maths today, you're looking at pages 123 to 125. Now, this is all about length, so it's going to all be using inches, feet, yards, okay? And you might be doing some converting as well into some metric units as you go through. So just really carefully work these out. If you need to draw some bar models, please do so. And if you need any help, then do send me an email and I can send you some advice. So good luck, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.